Good Tuesday morning, 4 minutes past the hour of 10 o'clock, and we're at 37 degrees right now at the KRIM Studios on West Frontier in Payson. I'm Randy Roberson, and with me in the studio today, once again, as we do once a month, we have Erlene Tilton representing the secrets of healthy, happy people. And first of all, Erlene, thanks for coming down and being with us again today. We appreciate you being here.
It's always good to be here.
Now, one of the things, I think this is really timely because, a lot of times, first of the year, people are, setting New Year's resolutions. Oh, I got to lose some weight. I need to go on a diet and diet this, and you got this kind of diet and that kind of diet and all kinds of diets. And the bottom line is, what we're talking about today is you're saying, hey, toss the diet. Instead, adopt some long-term eating plans. You this has proven itself to be true in your life.
Absolutely. I learned this with my own experiences with my body and my diet, but I also have been a weight loss and health coach for, almost 40 years. And I've just learned that really there's so much that we don't know. I mean, weight loss products are $1 billion industry, and so many people invest in these things, especially the first 2 weeks of December, and they're gonna, lose weight this year, and they just dive into it, but they don't really understand what packs on the weight and how to get it on off
Right.
naturally, safely, and long term. And to me, that's why people just don't end up losing the weight.
Right. They're just going after it the wrong way.
Yep.
So I should get rid of the idea that by buying the hula hoop that I bought, that's going to solve all my problems.
Hey, we can always increase our exercise,
There you go.
and to me, that's an important part of it. And a lot of the things that maybe, we're not talking today, I mean, we always need to exercise more,
Sure,
so
sure.
definitely.
But you're saying, if you want to drop pounds in a simple and natural way, this is the way to go.
Yep, diets don't work. The only thing that's really, really going to work is to adopt a healthy eating plan long term. And what this does, if you give your body the right foods, the right drinks, and the right supplements, it actually does two things. First of all, it supports and fuels your body's natural daily requirements. And most of us don't do that. But secondly, it puts your body in fat burning mode. Who would like to be in fat burning mode all the time?
Sure.
All of us.
Right.
And that's what we need to do.
And one of the things, and I'm going to jump ahead just a little bit because only because I know this is probably my single greatest downfall, and that is that I love bread. I love it fresh out of the oven. I love it 19 different ways at least, and that can kind of lead you down some bad trails in and of itself.
Right. Well, what we need to understand, and I'm going to go over today, the number one culprit for weight gain and exactly what you need to do to get the pounds off. And let's even just talking about the number one culprit for weight gain, let's understand our blood sugar.
Right.
And what's happening with our blood sugar, because most people are just like you, Randy. They are eating those 19 different carbs every day. And when you look at, breakfast is cold cereal and waffles and pancakes, bagels, donuts, pastries of all kinds.
Sure.
And then lunch, it's sandwiches and burgers and fries and chips and soft drinks. And then we've got snacks, more soft drinks and burgers, and chips and candies, cookies,
Carbs
all of those
plenty.
things. Yes. Dinner, potatoes, pastas, rice, all of those things, and desserts. We haven't even mentioned those, and more drinks and soft drinks until, our bodies are so overloaded with carbs. Well, there's several problems with this. The number one problem is that, I remember when I came a few months ago, we talked about insulin and glucagon.
Right.
Okay, so these are hormone partners that are created in our pancreas, and when we overeat carbs, our body or our pancreas has to overproduce insulin. And so there's three problems with the overproduction of insulin. First of all, it puts our body into it actually stores it as fat. That's the number one problem, because actually insulin goes to take the blood sugar out of the blood and use it as fuel.
Right.
But overconsumption of carbs means overproduction of insulin, and it has to be stored as fats. The next problem is that it puts your blood sugar on a roller coaster, and so your blood sugar is high, then it takes it too much out, and then your blood sugar is low, which leaves you craving for more carbs. But the biggest danger is that eventually your body cannot produce insulin, and we know what that leads to. Diabetes, as well as many other of our major diseases. So to me, insulin is very important. It has a very important role, but we're overdoing it. We're taxing our insulin levels when we overdo the carbs.
I remember you saying that one of the things that you kind of keyed in on early on this was noticing how you felt after you ate bread and some of these things that have just all kinds of nasty ingredients when it comes to your blood sugar.
Absolutely.
And that's something that people should try to maybe think about. Okay, if you're going to sit there and have 5 dinner rolls, check into how you feel afterwards.
Yes, absolutely. And most people don't feel good, but they don't recognize it as something they just ate, and we need to be able to do that.
So the high carbs, a bad thing, but the glucagon, if I remember correctly from a couple months ago, that's actually a good thing.
Absolutely, and that's the balance that our, like I said, these are hormone partners created in our pancreas, and that's what gives us balance. Well, what produces glucagon is, I should say glucagon is produced in the pancreas when we are fasting or between meals or when we're eating the right foods. For instance, our celery and leafy greens and are actually healthy fats and proteins. And this is why, and this actually puts your body in fat burning mode. When you are in, when your body is producing more glucagon. And that's why the keto diet and the paleo diets are so highly promoted in today's world, because it actually puts your body in fat burning mode. That's where we want to be, but most people just don't know how to do that.
So it really comes down to just maybe making some different choices as to what we eat, not necessarily how often you eat, of course there's variables involved there, but just making some smart choices when it comes to the types of things that we eat routinely, what it's all about.
Yes, absolutely, and that's where, I can't emphasize enough, don't go on a diet. Just adopt a new healthy eating plan. And it's all about lifestyle choices. We can do this, we can do it simply and naturally, but we try to make it too difficult because we are so in love with these foods. But like you were saying earlier, you need to be more in love with the way you feel. And if you don't feel good after you eat foods, eventually you want to get to that point to where you eat because the foods that help you feel good, instead of those tasty foods that you don't want to get up that make you feel so lousy. And eventually, if you start listening to your body, which is really, really key, that's where you're going to finally find success.
Okay, so now you mentioned the keto and the paleo diets. I assume that this is more plant-based?
No, actually.
Really?
No. So let's talk about keto first.
Okay.
So keto is a diet where they remove the grains, they remove the sugars. They're basically removing your carbs, your grain carbs and your sugar carbs. And it's really high fat, high protein, with a little bit of vegetables, rarely any fruits. But what the idea is to put your body into ketosis, to where instead of burning carbs for fuel, you're burning fat for fuel. And so that's why it's really high fat. The problem with the keto diet is you see people over consuming bacon and pork and cream cheese and all of those things that are not necessarily healthy.
Right.
So even though people are losing weight with them and they're putting their body into ketosis, which is fat burning mode, and burning the fat instead of the carbs, the long-term effects may be negative because, face it, bacon and pork and all these other high fat foods, it's not a quality type of food that you're eating, and eventually that can backfire on you.
Sure.
So,
On a side note, I find this interesting because Tina Terry, who's in here on Friday mornings with the Hometown Movie Guys, she and her husband had switched over to like a carnivore diet of some kind where it's mainly all just meat. But one of the things that she mentioned is since doing that, and I'm going to tell you everything I know about this in about 3 seconds, but since doing that, she said a lot of the allergic reactions she had to other things in the world went away. I thought that was kind of interesting, and I don't know if that's again it comes back to a lot of the carbs that she's now not ingesting or what, but it's fascinating how a few different choices can make a big difference in how we feel on a variety of levels.
yes, absolutely. Well, the reason that people are feeling so good on the keto diet is because they're getting rid of all this sugar and grain carbs.
Right.
And to me, that is what's killing us. It is a number one culprit for all of our diseases, as well as all these blood sugar issues and obesity. And so that is really a problem there. But what I have found if you compare it to the paleo diet, the paleo diet is very similar. It gets rid of those grains as well as those sugars, and it also gets rid of milk, which I agree with that because I feel like the milk is very unhealthy. It's not produced in a healthy way, and it's not really a healthy food. But it really, the paleo diet is more in balance. You really up your fruits and vegetables, still healthy proteins and fat, and they don't, they're not against animal protein, but just making sure that you do have good healthy fats, good healthy proteins from animal as well as nuts and seeds, and avocados are good fats, good fruits and vegetables, not overdoing the carbs. But it seems to be more balanced, but there's more quality involved. And it really encourages your natural whole foods, like pineapple or, real fruits and vegetables that people aren't eating. And we need to get back to that. We need to just get back to the basics of eating good, wholesome foods. That's what's going to put your body into fat burning mode. And not only that, and more important than that, is actually creating better health for you. We all want better health.
Sure.
We want more energy, we want to sleep better, we want to be able to feel good and get rid of some of the health issues we have. Well, it still all starts with diet. And as I've worked with people over the years and they, when it comes to weight loss specifically, they say, well, if you're going to make me give up all these foods, I had a lady recently tell me this, if you're going to make me change my diet, forget it. And I'm going, well, then I don't think I can help you. And she says, well, you just don't know your stuff. And I'm going, I know my stuff, and I have a lot of supplements that I could recommend, but diet is still the foundation. And if you don't get that, you'll never find success with weight loss.
Makes sense. Now, with this whole talk about the keto diet and everything, this is something that you've had a focus on for quite a while. You even wrote an ebook on this, right?
Yes. Actually, it's this is my ebook, and I actually printed it off. So what's wrong with the ketogenic diet? It's a number of pages. I think that there's a lot of great information that would not only help us understand what's wrong with that diet as far as the quality, the quantity, and some of the issues with that diet, but I like to help people understand what is a healthy diet. So a lot of great information in this, and if they want to get this, just contact me, just email me at ask@erleentilton.com, and that's ERLEENTILTON.com. So I will be glad to send you the link to this ebook, and it really does have some good information that I think people will find valuable, and you'll see that it's not that hard to make some better choices.
Okay, now, so help me wrap my head around this a little bit more. We were talking about the keto diet, and then you also mentioned the paleo diet. What's the differences between these two?
Like I said, the keto is, it's just basically cutting out your grains and your sugar carbs. but there's no real emphasis on the quality of foods. It's just lots of fats and proteins, mostly. Whereas the paleo diet really includes more raw fruits and vegetables, and I think it just has a better balance. It still gets rid of your grains and your dairy and your sugars, but it's more concentrated on more fruits and vegetables and more healthier fats and proteins. And to me, I think quality is everything.
Right.
So
Now, you mentioned, much like I alluded to a little bit ago, that getting away from grains and everything was not easy for you.
no, over the years, people would never believe this because of how I eat now, but man, I used to bake whole wheat bread and I would bake cinnamon rolls and muffins and do all kinds of fun things with grains, but I never felt well. And the more I ate them, the more I could understand that not only does my body not like gluten, but my body doesn't do well with grains, period. And I have found my blood sugar is way more in control. I had low blood sugar and I experienced a lot of imbalances in my blood sugar over the years. But once I gave up the grains, and I won't say I'm 100% free, occasionally I will eat brown rice or quinoa or, corn chips or corn tortilla, but that's, very minimal. I really try to eat more paleo. So lots of fruits and vegetables, good healthy fats and proteins, nuts, and you feel full with your fats and proteins, and they replace those carbs that you think that you want to have.
Now, you also mentioned getting milk out of your diet, and I'm not a big milk drinker, so that would be an easy switch for me. But for folks that, maybe just really feel like they've got to have their, daily ration of something that at least looks and tastes like milk, are there other options out there?
You know what? We live in a world today where we have a lot of great alternatives, and I think they're really healthy options, like your almond milk, your coconut milk. They even have coconut cream cheese and different types of cheese substitutes, which I don't really go for, but I have found like dips. There's almond dips. There's cashew creams. There's a lot of great things with our nuts and our seeds, and that have really become mainstream to a lot of people that are avoiding milk. And I think there's a lot of people that have to avoid dairy for a lot of different reasons.
Now, you also mentioned that obviously a lot of this, when it comes to breads and things like that, the real negative repercussions that you're trying to get away from is those carbs being turned into sugar that messes up with your blood sugar levels and all of that kind of thing. Now, do we need to also look at just getting sugar out of our diet altogether?
Absolutely.
And how do you do that?
That's really hard. But I first went to honey, but I realized that I still have to eat honey at a minimal. It really goes to your bloodstream a lot slower, and I think that it's the more natural. So if you can keep honey to a minimum, then that's a great alternative. Make sure you get the raw honey.
Mhm.
And we have some good raw local honey, so go for that rather than the grocery store kind. But another thing is this monk fruit sweetener. Now, this is kind of interesting, and it's a little bit more pricey, but I don't use it on a daily basis. I mean, it's just when I'm making things, I can use something rather than sugar. And it actually pretty much looks like sugar, but it's from the monk fruit. And interestingly enough, it is no carb, it is no glycemic, and no calorie.
Wow.
And so
It still provides a lot of sweetener.
And it's sweet, and it's keto friendly, it's paleo friendly, because there's no carb, no glycemic problems with that. And I think it's a great replacement. There's a couple of others out there, erythritol. I prefer the monk fruit. I feel like it's a good one. Stevia is also a good one. So it's what I can add to my warm herbal drinks and other drinks. And so we have a lot of great options. Like I said, there's, today we have a lot of great options, and we don't have to feel like we're being left out.
Now, and we're starting to run low on time here, and I know one of the other things we wanted to talk about, you mentioned also about supplements.
Okay.
And is there, are there a lot of good choices, or are there some bad choices when it comes to supplements? What should we be thinking about?
Yes, so first of all, I like to help people understand that supplements are important to fill in the holes or the gaps of our diets. And my favorite is a Lifelong Vitality supplement. It's a 3-pack supplement. And actually, it's got the vitamins and minerals, it's got the omegas, it's got the alpha CRS, which is your antioxidants. These are really good. I always say don't buy supplements in tablets because, you've got some fillers, that put them together. So make sure that they're whole foods without synthetics and in capsules. But you really need a good balance of them every day. Most people don't get that. They're not taking good supplements, and what they are taking are cheap stuff that are just full of fillers, and they're going right through them. A couple of other things is specifically to weight loss. I love this Mito2 Max. It's actually works with your mitochondria to raise the oxygen and make your cell engines work more efficiently. And so it's cellular, and it's a superfood formula. There is no harmful stimulants, no artificial stimulants, no caffeine. And that really helps, raise your energy, but it starts in the cells. Now, a couple of other things is Arterazyme, which is an enzyme formula, PB, which is a probiotic formula. These are all having to do with the gut, and everything has to do with your gut. What you eat, what you supplement with is super, super important. But last but not least is my essential oils. First of all, lemon is a super essential oil because we eat to nourish, but we drink to cleanse. Most of what people are drinking nowadays are polluting your cells. In fact, 45% of America's intake of sugar comes from drinks. To me, that's huge.
45%?
45%
Wow.
of America's intakes.
Interesting.
And so if you could get rid of the drinks and just use water and add lemon essential oil to it, lemon essential oil comes from the rind. It just flushes out the toxins in your body. That's what we need to have happen. And so people say, well, soft drinks are just water anyway. No, they are the opposite because they pollute. You need something that will cleanse. And adding essential oils gives it a flavor. And again, only those with a supplement fact label. And you can get these at Back to Basics here in town.
All of the different supplements
All
and
of
everything?
these, yes, we
Okay.
can get these at Back to Basics. So this really helps to flush. The other one you can actually get in a soft gel or the essential oil is called Slim and Sassy. Slim and Sassy is kind of, it's very
sassy
slim.
name, I like it.
It's actually our metabolic blend. It speeds up your metabolism, but it's got a combination of oils that actually work to balance your blood sugar, reduce your cravings, increase your metabolism so you're burning fat faster. And just adding a few drops, under your tongue or to your water throughout the day just really helps to speed up your metabolism. So
Wow.
these two essential oils are phenomenal for accelerating your weight loss efforts.
Right.
And we all want that, right? Again, it's all about eating the right foods that will fuel your body and will give your body the nutrients that it needs, but also that will put your body into fat burning mode. And that's where it starts with diet and taking in those supplements that actually help accelerate the process.
And we're out of time, but one last thing. I know you've talked about this before, but it would seem like this is a natural time to bring it up. You really need to be drinking more water.
Absolutely, drinking more water. Now, I also wanted to let people know, our listeners know, that I have another ebook, and it's called the 14-Day Meal Plan. And actually, this 14-Day Meal Plan is a 68-page ebook, and I didn't want to print any of that. But it is really good for helping you just know what a healthy diet looks like. So that is also free if they want to email me. And I will also be over at Back to Basics for the next hour or so. I'll just go over there, and if people want to come and chat with me until about 12:30, I'm going to be over there. Come over there, stop by, and let's just learn how I can help you a little
So
bit better.
stop on down to Back to Basics up at the north end of the Swiss Village Shops. Up until about noon or so today, you're going to be there and be able to answer more questions. And again, if people are interested in downloading the ebooks that we've talked about this morning, again, the email address they need to send an email to get that is
Ask at, and then my name, ErleneTilton.com, ErlenTilton.com.
Erlene, always a pleasure to have you in here. Keep up the good work. You've given me some great ideas. I may have to give up bread, but hey, if I can dump some weight and get healthier as a result, I'm good to go for it. Thanks
You know,
again.
we can do this. We can do this. We can have a healthier, happier year.
Gotta love it. Well, we're going to get you back to more of your favorite music. Have some tunes coming up from Van Halen, Elvin Bishop, Led Zeppelin, Ugly Americans. There's not nearly enough of those. We got a whole bunch more for you too coming up. But first, a look at Rim Country weather.